In November, I had the chance to intern for Joshua Kane on show day.
We are currently on our way to the show.
I'm squashed by garments that are probably worth more than my life.
Up having to sprint across the hotel and lobby to find a safety pin. But firstly, you might not know who Joshua Kane are. They are a bespoke tailor who cater to some pretty well-known faces. I'm talking David Tennant, Cara Delevingne, Tom Holland and Asa Butterfield, just to name a few. And they create some of the most magical runway collections in the tailoring scene. The show that I ended up a dresser at was called the Shipwreck Tailors. But how did I end up there? Monday the 13th of November. I was getting ready to go home for a few days. I'm currently studying an art foundation at Oxford Brookes, and we got a notification at about 6 PM on our Google Classroom that there was an internship for that Thursday, and I immediately sent off an email expressing my interest. Good morning, it's currently 7:50. I'm about to head in to work. I have a shift, 9:30 to 6:30 today, and then I'm heading home. I then spent my lunch break at work typing up a more in-depth email of why I wanted to do the internship. I'm on the architecture, not fashion and textile pathway, so I had a bit of explaining to do, and I found out on my way home that evening that I was one of the lucky few given the internship.
While I'm home, I'm going to be working on a little commission for a landscape architect today, and then tonight I'm going to stay overnight at a friend's, and I have another fashion internship tomorrow.
Big round.
Book
You
session.
want me to have that one? Let's go up something.
Thursday morning, and it was time to head to the Joshua Kane studio. And I was running late. Warning, do not put yourself through that. I practically sprinted from the tube. My head was so full of the Devil Wears Prada-esque scenes. But when I got there, I don't think they even noticed that I was late. We didn't actually have anything to do for the first half hour because they were still sewing on a lot of the garments. But soon we got started loading up all the looks to be transported to the show's venue, which was at a very nice hotel called the Mandrake. A little while later, Marina, Rebecca and I followed. We were sent in a very nice taxi with the look board and some few garments which had needed last minute touch-ups. We are currently on our way to the show,
Joshua Kane show,
2023.
yeah. We're very excited, if you can't tell. Currently being squashed by garments that are probably worth more than my life. So that should be fun.
We then got to work giving our hand set dressing and spent most of the day running around, being a spare pair of hands. It was completely up to you to make yourself useful and find ways to help. If you didn't actively seek out jobs to do, you would just be stood there doing nothing for the whole day, which even while trying to find stuff to do does happen. Equally, nobody will give you permission to go take a break or have lunch because they're busy doing their own things, which was something we'd already learned at the Vininomi internship. So we took the liberty of escaping for a bit to eat. Marina, what is your mid-fashion show update?
So far so good. Haven't cried yet, but it's very hectic and chaotic inside. There's a lot going on, there's a lot setting up, there's a lot of fashion work going downstairs. I built tripods for the first time, but it's going very swiftly actually. I think it's going to be a good day.
There were a couple hours between 3 and 5 around when the rehearsals were going on. There was really nothing for us to do, so the most useful we could be was just get out the way. We were hid on a sofa behind the garment rails or fangirling over the insane bathroom at the Mandrake, which did play some really creepy music though. However, in the moments that followed those clips, the rush began. As hair and makeup finished each look, since we were officially dressers, we were there to help the models get into their looks. Each intern was armed with a shoehorn because, specifically with the female looks, they had these incredibly dainty and delicate shoes to get into and lace up that we had to really look after. After each model was dressed, they were then rushed to be photographed and eventually sent to a room upstairs where they waited for the show to begin. With the final model sent upstairs, we followed suit, this time armed with lint rollers, and spent the 15 minutes before the show frantically checking over each and every outfit to make sure it was perfect. We were lint rolling flakes of hair gel that had fallen onto the outfits. Occasionally there was a loose thread we were snipping, or just a piece of fluff we were lint rolling. In the last minute before the show, I ended up having to sprint across the hotel and lobby to find a safety pin to make a small adjustment on one of the fits. Made it back just in time. And then it was time to send off the models. As each model came through after their first run, we were checking over them with the lint roller, making sure they hadn't picked up any fluff along the way before sending them all off for their final walk all together. After the show, we were there to help undress the models, get them out of their shoes and suits carefully, and put everything back in the right boxes and garment bags, which was probably most complicated part of the whole day. We then quickly cleaned up the whole room that the models had been getting ready in, and after that was done, we were ready to head off to the after party upstairs. We got ready in our new favourite bathrooms and headed up. Joshua Kane gave us free drinks the whole night, and it was a fun night. The fashion industry does have this reputation of being incredibly exclusive, even judgmental a lot of the time.
Something funny?
And while elements of that are true, on the creative sides, all the models, makeup artists, designers, the whole Joshua Kane team was so absolutely lovely to us for the whole experience. We were given so much more trust and faith to get things done than you'd expect. And all in all, the whole experience was so much more human than you'd expect from something of this scale. Which is how it should be, but sadly, not how it's often portrayed in the media. It's something we've spoken a lot about on Art Foundation, that a lot of creative careers are really based on reputation, so being considerate to other people while working on a project, being kind, really does pay off in the long term, and it was nice to see that actually in action. I really feel like I learned a lot from that experience, so thank you to the Joshua Kane team. Thank you for watching. Once again, more to come.